I'm here to say not all emotionally unavailable people are narcissists, guys. Come on, get it together now. Hi, I'm Jess. I am a recovering fearful avoidant. I'm also the creator of this channel, Secure Links. If you are new here, welcome. If you're not new and you've watched my videos before, thank you so much for taking the time to revisit my channel, watch my videos, and please consider having a thumbs up, comment, all the good stuff, subscribe to my channel, all of that. So, to dive right in, some tips to help you navigate being in a relationship with an emotionally avoidant or emotionally unavailable person. Now, I just want to preface this by saying the majority of people are just like, well, they won't bother with emotionally unavailable people. The issue is, a lot of the time, people don't realise somebody's emotionally unavailable until they're actually attached to them. And they also want it on the side of the avoidance and sticking up for them. It doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It doesn't mean that they're a narcissist. It just means that there is, for sure, people that are narcissists, that know what they're doing, they don't care that they're hurting other people. But the majority of the people that are emotionally unavailable is caused by some sort of trauma in their lives, and they now just struggle to trust and struggle to open up and struggle with conflict resolution. It doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad person as such. Now, the majority of the people that are going to be in this dynamic is the man is going to be the emotionally unavailable person. Now, this is not for everybody. This is not in every dynamic. I have had emotionally unavailable traits in the past. I'm still struggling with them. And currently, I'm in the dating stages of getting to know somebody, and there's things that have come up for me. Luckily for me, this individual is very, very patient, and I have been open with it. I said, sometimes I'm going to come back and I'm going to need space, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's anything to do with you. It's just fears and things that I'm going to work through, and things have come up and I've been given space. And this person is not attacking me and making me feel bad. In past dynamics, when I've been made to feel guilty about needing space, what tends to happen is then I just, on some level, people please, instead of just thinking, okay, this person's not respecting me and my need for space, and I'll just go with it, and then that person, often, it's never enough for them. It's just, I feel like I'm just giving more and more and more of myself, and that person's not really understanding my needs, they're just thinking about themselves. So the first tip I want to kind of push on is, do not attack an emotionally unavailable individual. Do not make it about you, because it's probably not about you. Honestly, it's probably not about you. Do not internalise this as, what have I done to make this person not want to speak to me? Why am I not good enough? All that does is increase the guilt that the partner feels, the stress that the partner feels, and the higher the stress, the more shut down they feel, and it just makes the issue worse and pushes them further away from you. Instead, create a safe space for this individual to open up. And when that happens, usually they will take a little bit of space. For me, if I'm given space, majority of the time, a couple of days is what I need. And in fact, if I feel like I'm being respected, obviously this differs. Some people are going to need more than a couple of days. This is just me. If I need a few days, and the person, I don't feel pressure. I feel like I'm giving them a few days to go through whatever I'm going through in my head. The pressure reduces, and I often actually don't even need to take that long. I usually take shorter than what I've actually asked for. But if the person is trying to make me feel bad, or maybe it's not on purpose, but they don't realise what they're doing. Like, oh, well, you don't want to spend time with me, and you don't think I'm important, and you don't love me, and blah, blah, blah. All that does is make me, it perpetuates the issue. I just think, oh, no, I'm already feeling stressed. This person is stressing me out more. I'm going to push them further away. But yeah, creating a safe space for the individual. And usually, when you give them the space, they will return to you and they can discuss what was going on. If they don't automatically start talking about what was going on for them, it might just be a little bit soon, but you can ask them if they would like to share their experience with you. And because you have given them the space and they've returned on their own, they're probably more likely to feel like they can talk to you about it. Now, I'm not saying that in every situation it's not going to be about you. It's probably not going to be about you, but sometimes there is certain things that you may be doing that might be putting a little bit too much pressure on that partner, and that is why they're needing to pull away a little bit. But the key point is, don't go into it with the first thought being internalizing it and making it all about you. Ultimately, the goal is to find the solution to the issue. It shouldn't be me versus you. You know, when you create this you versus me dynamic, all it does is create defensiveness and ultimately less healthy communication. Think about it. Like, have you ever done something that you know wasn't really the best thing to be doing, and then somebody comes at you like hot-headed and starts drilling you for it? You automatically put a wall up. You start getting defensive, even though you know really you have to. You try and defend yourself. You know, this is a normal human trait. It's just human nature to try, and you don't want to be feeling like you're doing something wrong, so you try and over-explain the situation, or like I said, put a wall up, be defensive, to try and show that person that actually I'm not a bad person, not a bad person. But when you come from the defensive place, you're much more likely to be kind of self-centered. So what you want to do is you want to come from a calm place, and this disarms them. It's much more likely that you're going to get a response like, if you come from a calm place and not make it attacking, they're going to be like, no, actually, you're right, I haven't been spending enough time with you, I'm sorry, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. Oftentimes, you will find that the individual says, I've been dealing with X, Y, Z, rather than I've been feeling X, Y, Z. With avoidance, I've actually personally had to download an app called How Are We Feeling. It's a brilliant app, it's free to download, and it's helps you recognise exactly what you're feeling. Avoidant individuals, often their feelings and their reality was invalidated when they were younger, and they don't find emotions safe. So they're not that good with them. For me, I would be happy, or I would be angry, or I would be sad. And I didn't really know any of the other emotions. You know, there's usually a reason why it's turned into anger. It could be that I'm not feeling respected, that some need is not being met, and I'm not recognising that within myself, and it just turns into anger and arguing. But the more I've worked on this with this app, it helps you sit there, and it's like a cross section, and it's like high energy, low mood, high energy, high mood, low energy, low mood. You know, you get the picture. So, and it could be I'm feeling distrustful, I'm feeling disgusted, or I'm feeling whatever it is. I was not aware of all of these emotions years ago. It's taken me a very, very long time, and I still struggle with it sometimes, and I still have to use this app. Just because you are emotionally aware of how you are feeling doesn't mean everybody finds that as easy as you. So, yeah, that is something that an emotionally avoidant or an emotionally unavailable person might be struggling with. That might be the reason that they're pulling back, because they're not actually sure what they're feeling. As a child, when you're constantly invalidated for feeling a certain way, we don't tend to have the mind-to-body connection. We're out of touch with our emotions. Okay? So it doesn't really come natural. So try not to, again, think just because you feel like that, they're going to be feeling like that. It's not always the same. So you need to try and come from a place of compassion with these individuals as well, not just like self-centeredness all the time, how it's affecting you, because, sometimes you have to think, they're probably struggling just the same as you are, if not more. The next thing I want you to consider is the root cause of the issue. Okay, let me use an example. So you might have a family member or a friend that is an alcoholic. It's alcohol dependent. And how many times do you think this individual has heard you shouldn't be drinking that much alcohol? Alcohol is really bad for your health. You shouldn't be drinking that much, blah, blah, blah. Do you think that individual is not aware of that? There's usually a root cause bigger than the issue that they see on the surface, that it's not healthy. There's usually an underlying root cause that they're trying to escape from a feeling. They might have social anxiety issues, they might be dealing with depression. There's usually an underlying cause of the alcoholism. It's not just they're an alcoholic for no reason. Same when it comes to avoidance. So on the surface, you're just seeing, you're not communicating properly, you're shutting me out, this, and this. You need to find out the root cause of it. Is it because you just had 3 days in a row where you went on like really, really lovely dates with this individual, you're feeling really close with them, they've been emotionally vulnerable with you, and the connection's getting really strong, and then they pull away? The root cause there could be that the last time they got so close to somebody, they got hurt. And they have this internal programming that links getting close and vulnerable with pain. And they might just need a little bit of time to go through that in their head and realise that you're not the same as that individual. Sorry if you can hear barking, it's next door neighbour. I don't mind, but hopefully you can't hear that. So yeah, you need to think about the root cause. What's happened in the run-up to this shutdown in communication, or is it just like gradually got worse and worse? Is this individual not feeling seen and heard? Are you just making it all about you all of the time? Maybe make some notes of when you see this individual shutting down, because addressing it with them at that moment might not be appropriate, and you might find that journaling or something like that about the situation helps you come to some sort of conclusion that when they've calmed down and are ready to talk to you, you can address it, you can ask them, do you think it's because of X, Y, and Z? They might turn around and say, no, it wasn't anything to do with that. And assumptions are really, really bad. We shouldn't assume things. Okay? But it's better than just a knee-jerk reaction of, you're not shutting me out and, X, Y, and Z. And at least you're asking them. You're coming from a place of curiosity rather than just assuming and attacking. The next thing I want to talk about is when they do open up and talk to you, listen to what they're saying. Listen to the words that they're saying. Don't just internalise it. Make up a story in your head of what they're saying, what that means. How do I explain what I'm talking about here? If an individual says, okay, I struggle to open up and be close to someone because the last time I got cheated on and I struggle to trust people. Don't start saying, oh, what, so you don't trust me, is that what you're saying? You think I'm going to cheat on you? And make switch it and make it a personal attack, because that's not what they're actually saying, is it? They're not saying, I do not trust you. They're saying, I struggle with trusting people. And there is a big difference there. So that's just an example of, see, I didn't really know how to word it, but hopefully you get the picture. But when they are explaining something and they are being vulnerable, it needs to be a positive experience. If you then go in and attack them, they're not going to feel safe to open up again. So when they do open up, hear what the words that they say. Don't make a story. If you need to ask a follow-up question, do it, but come from a place of curiosity rather than attacking. And don't make it that they're saying that you aren't trustworthy or that you are going to hurt them. That's not actually what they're expressing to you. And also focus on, if you make any progress, thank them for being open and vulnerable. It's probably quite a big deal for them to be vulnerable in that moment. So by acknowledging that they were making progress and that they were being open, don't just focus on fixing it really quickly. This is internal programming that's probably been going on for quite a while, so it's going to take time, and little baby steps are better than no steps. So focus on the positive changes that you're making together. Now at first, they might just not be ready to have a vulnerable face-to-face conversation. Something that I've seen on Instagram, it was between a mother and a daughter, and the mother had given the daughter a notebook. And she said, if there's anything ever that you don't feel comfortable coming and chatting to me face to face about, write in it and leave it under my pillowcase. And I just think this is such a good idea for an avoidant attachment individual or emotionally unavailable person, because if you write them a letter explaining how you were feeling about the situation, they can then decide to respond to it either face to face or via another letter. They don't feel the pressure in that moment to respond, and they've got time to process the information. And then eventually you could get to the point of having that face-to-face conversation, but sometimes some individuals it's too much for them, and they would rather just block it out and ignore that there's any issue even there, and obviously that's not healthy and it's not working together as a team. So the notebook idea might help some individuals. It's definitely something that I think would work for me. If I was finding something really difficult to talk about, writing in a letter, I definitely would find that easier. Now, I've touched on the anxious and avoidant trap in a couple of my previous videos. So I'm going to bring up that I'm probably going to get some hate for this. You possibly need to work on something yourself. If you're attracted to an emotionally unavailable partner, so you need to also look at yourself and not just blame the partner for everything going wrong in the relationship. Do you need constant validation from your partner? Are you able to self-soothe on your own, or do you rely heavily on your partner? It's putting a lot of pressure on them to the point where they just need a break from it. If not, look at yourself. Could you give yourself self-love and self-validation when in times when your partner is not able to give you that, and give them the break and work on yourself? And something else with anxious attachment is often anxious individuals, it terrifies them, the thought of being alone. If your partner believes that no matter what, you are not going to leave them, think about it this way, okay? They've already got trauma to unpack and things to look at them within themselves and look back at traumatic experiences that are causing them to shut down. And the natural response of an avoidant is to avoid the situation. So it's really uncomfortable and quite painful for these individuals or for anybody dealing with trauma from the past. So if they think you're never going to leave, why are they going to look at it? If there is a part of you, they know there's a possibility. If they know there's a possibility that you're going to walk away if nothing changes, they're more likely to look at themselves and to deal with the situation and to work on themselves. But it's way less likely to happen if they know you aren't willing to walk away. If nothing changes, you're just going to stay there anyway. So that is something that you need to, have you got that self-respect in you? Sometimes it's actually going to take your emotionally unavailable partner to be without you and for you to walk away, for them to actually look at themselves and realise, like, I should have faced this fear. I care about this person, and I know that I was hurting them by not, giving my full self to them and being vulnerable with them. But if that fear of losing you is not there, they're probably not going to face it. And sometimes it takes you to walk away for them to realise, but often it's too late. And the thing is, if that's the case for you, I'm so sorry, because I honestly can really empathise with how painful that must be for you. And it's really not easy. But what you need to realise is it's not your job to fix somebody's trauma. It's their own responsibility. And if they're not owning it and they're not making the changes that they're not meeting your needs, then unfortunately sometimes we have to just wave goodbye to some people in our life and wish them all the best and go out and do your own healing and, find somebody that is fit for you and is going to meet your needs. Now, the last little point is I do want to talk about how avoidants often need a lot of alone time. They need to decompress, and often this is in the safety of their own home, and they might be less likely to have sufficient levels of vitamin D from going outside. So if you're with an individual that you think might be deficient in some sort of nutrients, vitamins, then that might be worth a conversation worth having with them. Again, you aren't responsible for somebody, but if you bring something to light, then that might just, probe some thinking in them, because when you are deficient in vitamins and minerals, especially if they were deficient in something like vitamin C from not spending enough time outside, this can have a massive effect on our energy levels. And when you find emotional connection draining and you're already lethargic because you've got deficiency, in your body, you're not going to use the energy that you have got to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable. So this might be worth having a conversation about and deciding whether this makes sense for them, and decide whether they can decide whether they want to change some of their daily habits, start taking some supplements. It might help. It's just something I thought worth noting. Probably isn't going to be for everybody, but hopefully that helped. Again, it is not your job to fix somebody. But if you love somebody and you care about them and you want them in your life and you want to try and make it work, it is these things hopefully some things that you could try. And obviously if there isn't any improvement, then it might be time to close the door. And I'm really, really sorry if that's the case for you. But definitely try out these things first and hopefully you find some sort of resolution. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.